Averie Grace Evans, who was born on December 15th, 1978, was described as being a girl who was pure of heart, clear of mind, and strong-spirited, who excelled academically and enjoyed playing the violin. She was precocious and full of energy, with dreams for her future, filled with music, laughter, and her family, who described her as a ray of sunshine. 11-year-old Averie Evans lived in Natchitoches, Louisiana, a location well known for being the filming location for the 1989 film Steel Magnolias. On November 5th of 1990, Averie mounted her white, pink and purple Murray bicycle and went door to door across the neighbourhood of Natchitoches in an effort to sell candy to raise money for a school fundraiser. Following a visit to a friend, however, rather oddly, the 11-year-old never returned home. She simply vanished. Averie was last seen by witnesses in an area of 5th and Stevens Streets. After the schoolgirl failed to return home, her worried parents contacted the authorities to report Evans as a missing person. Her family, friends, and local volunteers scoured the area for any sign of her, or her bike, but came up empty-handed. Due to the circumstances of Averie's disappearance, investigators narrowed down a list of potential abductors, which landed them on the doorstep of a man named Philip Louis DeSalle. DeSalle lived at an address on the 400 block of Henry Avenue, which was not too far away from the Evans' residence. In an article published in Alexandria's The Town Talk newspaper, it came to light that Averie had a previous run-in with Philip DeSalle, at least 3 times the month before, and once alongside her sister Mandy a short time prior to her disappearance. The sisters were also selling candy, and when DeSalle appeared from his house to talk to the girls, he asked them some very personal questions, such as where they lived and what their phone number was. The girls became frightened and ran home to their mother, who they recanted their story to. Their mother, Joanne Evans, had told both Averie and Mandy and their other sister, Christy, about stranger danger, and so they knew that if they were approached by someone who made them uncomfortable, they were to run. Police viewed DeSalle as a potential suspect from very early on in the investigation. However, they didn't have any concrete evidence to implicate him in the disappearance of Averie Evans. This was until January of 1991, when DeSalle sent an anonymous letter to the authorities, where he admitted to having strangled the missing schoolgirl. According to court documents obtained by the Town Talk newspaper, the letter said DeSalle, quote, was sorry for what he did, and that all evidence went up in ashes to heaven, so she is with God. The letter also mentioned very specific pieces of clothing and jewellery that Averie had been wearing when she disappeared, something which only her abductor or someone involved would have known. The letter explained that DeSalle had disposed of Averie's body in a dumpster and put her bike in nearby Sibley Lake. After police confirmed that DeSalle had written the anonymous letter, he tried to take his own life, but was unsuccessful. He was subsequently arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The Evans family always held on to a glimmer of hope that Averie was alive out there, but that hope dwindled when the truth about DeSalle was revealed. Police sadly informed Averie's family of their firm belief that the 11-year-old schoolgirl was no longer alive, due to physical evidence that they had found, much of it also mentioned in the letter. Authorities searched the lake and recovered Averie's bike. However, despite various searches of the area where DeSalle said he had disposed of her remains, including landfill sites, Averie Evans has never been found. 41-year-old Philip DeSalle pled guilty to manslaughter and aggravated kidnapping in relation to Averie's case, claiming that he, quote, just snapped and had a bad day when it happened. Unfortunately, the prosecutors agreed to a plea bargain, mainly due to the fact that Averie's body was still missing. Therefore, they couldn't prove the crime had been premeditated. DiScelle was sentenced to 50 years behind bars. Shockingly, after not even serving half of his prison sentence, DiScelle walked free from jail, though on parole, in January of 2015, despite having confessed and shown no remorse for what he did to Averie Evans, not to mention his refusal to tell the authorities where the girl's body is located. When the sentence was passed, it was prior to Louisiana's change of the law, where the good time law was introduced. This meant that prisoners with good behaviour and those who participated in self-improvement programs could be released early, having only served half of their sentence. The so-called good time law was altered in 1997 in order to ensure that the most violent criminals served at least 85% of their sentence before being released back into the general population. Either way, this offered little comfort to the victims' families, including Averie's. Evans's family posted on their Facebook page, Justice for Averie, following DiScelle's release, quote, "Another day has dawned and our Averie is still gone, and now her killer walks free. The cold, grey rain outside matches our grief." On the day of her disappearance in November of 1990, Averie Grace Evans was 11 years old. She is described as being Caucasian, standing at 5 feet tall and weighing approximately 101 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes. It's unconfirmed whether Evans had any distinguishing marks or features, though one source states a scar on top of Averie's nose and a scar above her right eyebrow. Averie was last seen wearing a black sweater, a blue denim vest, and a pair of black jeans. It's almost been 33 years since Averie Evans was abducted from the street. Punishment for her kidnapper, Philip LaSalle, wasn't nearly enough for Averie's bereft family, who firmly believe that he is still very much a danger to the public. DiScelle is on parole until 2040 and is a registered sex offender. He has been moved multiple times to various locations across the state of Louisiana. The Justice for Averie Facebook page's main aim is to keep DiScelle's location in the public domain so that wherever he goes, the locals know who he is and what he is capable of. They want his neighbours to know of his presence so that they can take the appropriate actions to keep their children safe, so that no other family has to endure the pain that they have. They are shocked that the so-called good time law even applies to a child killer. Despite various searches and appeals for information over the years, Averie Evans's remains have never been found. Her family have never given up looking for her and hope that one day she will be found. Those with any information regarding the abduction and murder of Averie Evans are urged to contact the Natchitoches Police Department on 318-352-8101.